Welcome to the Real Estate Show. This is Architect Narayan, and today's topic is how has demonetization affected the real estate industry? When you look at the demonetization, this came on the 8th November 2016, and the implication on the industry has been huge. Now, the real estate sector itself had the largest number of cash transaction as far as the demonetization is concerned. Now, when all of a sudden the whole cash transaction stopped, the implication on this industry has been tremendous, and I think the implication would be felt for the next number of years. Firstly, what it was being thought that the elimination of unaccounted cash would actually get the real estate back into it. But unfortunately, what has happened was the moment the cash transaction got away, the sector felt a whole lot of other problems which were there. Firstly, the sector were used to a lot of cash transaction. That means a lot of unaccounted wealth got parked there. Secondly, these cash transactions would trickle down to paying to various laborers, various suppliers, etc., to the smallest people in terms of this thing. So when the top cash went away, so all of a sudden you would see that all these cash trickling down hasn't happened. The other thing what was anticipated for is that the home loan segment, or probably the home loan, will come down. This is primarily because the whole lot of cash would be redeposited into the bank. The bank would be flooded with a lot of money, and they will eventually be a rollout in terms of a secured home loan sector, where the banks will reduce the interest rate, but that hasn't happened. But today, if you see, we are still at 9.5%, or probably between 8% to 10% is the home loan segment today. So the deposit of all this hasn't trickled down into the banking, and today the bank is not able to give a lower home loan rates. The other thing what has happened in this is demonetization has a large impact in terms of the rental yield. Now, what it means is that the moment your property prices goes down, the rental value probably also goes down. But in terms of the demand and supply, when the property prices have gone down, the demand also have gone down, and there has been a low rental yield. Now today, if you see in India, in terms of compared to other countries, it is the lowest rental yield that is there when you compare China, when you compare Europe, US, you compare the eastern countries, so India is the lowest real rental. So you get anywhere between 1.5 to 2 is what the rental yield is. So that itself has probably governed or ensured that the sector hasn't gone back yet. Let us look at demonetization in terms of each segment itself. Now, first segment is the primary market. Now, what does primary market means? Primary market means it's a ready to move in house, it's a new project. These markets basically cater to the end user. That means somebody who's wants a new house, it caters to that. Somebody who wants to it caters to somebody at need. So that is the primary market. Now the primary market hasn't got affected much as far as the demonetization is concerned, because they do not depend on cash. There is no much cash transaction there happening, and they basically depend on the banking. They basically depend on the NBFCs, etc., and other legal aids available for the loans, etc. So that hasn't got affected. The second segment is the secondary market. In the secondary market, this primarily concerns is the resale, second home, land, probably a villa or a second home kind of a thing. Now they are got hugely affected. First and foremost is because there is a lot of cash transaction happening in that sector, and today with the cash completely drying off and no cash available for the secondary market happening, the prices have dropped down, no transaction is happening. There is only a bottom out of pricing happening, but yet the secondary market is so hugely affected that there is no movement happening there itself, because there is only a certain level of base price which can happen. Beyond this, things would become stagnant. So in the past 1 year, we've seen the secondary market, or probably even 2 years from now, the secondary market has been completely stagnant, and you will have to see where the secondary market would improve. And I predict that probably another 2 years or 3 years, the secondary market would not see any more improvement. The third is the luxury housing. In the luxury housing segment, this caters to probably in larger metros, it caters to 20% or even as much as 30% of the overall segment in the housing. Now that has got hugely impacted. There are many reasons, but one of the reasons of implication has surely been demonetization. There was a large, unaccounted wealth being deposited in this market. There has been transaction of unaccounted cash on this. Now, the moment the cash dried off, this segment have seen a very sharp decline in terms of the rates, but then the demand has not picked up, and I would see that this in another few years the demand would be difficult on this segment to pick up. That is it for today's show. If you like the show, you give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments or want to talk about any other issue on this, request you to write on the comment box below. Thank you very much. See you soon.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.